My dear friends, in this part of my speech, I will also be talking about what happened in Saudi Arabia's consulate in Istanbul. It is now definite that he was killed in the consulate of Saudi Arabia, and I'd like to have a comprehensive assessment on this. First of all, I wish Jamal Khashoggi rest in peace, and his family, and his countrymen, and also to the media. I hope he will rest in peace. But first of all, I'd like to refresh your memories a little bit on this. First of all, Jamal Khashoggi, first, on Friday, on the 28th of September, at 11:50, he arrived at the Saudi Arabia's Istanbul Consul General for him to sort out his marriage paperwork. So, and it seems to me that at that time, they started to plan, they started to draw a roadmap for his murder from that time on. And some of the officials in consulate had left Turkey and hurriedly went to Saudi Arabia. This also indicates that they went to Saudi Arabia to complete the planned work or planned murder of Jamal Khashoggi. So at 16:30, 3 people came with a scheduled flight. They settle in their hotel, and then they go to Consulate General of Saudi Arabia in Istanbul. And also some people, they go and have a look around in Belgrade Forestry and Yalova. And another team of 3 people, they came to Istanbul with another scheduled flight, and 9 people, a team of 9 people, came to Turkey in a private jet, and they go to another hotel, and they make the team of 15 people altogether. And between 9:50 and 11 o'clock on that morning, they come and meet in the Consulate General's building, inside the building. So first of all, they take out the hard disk in the Consulate General, and in the meantime, they make a telephone call to Jamal Khashoggi at 11:50 for him to come in for his appointment for the paperwork that he wanted to sort out. So at 13:08 hours, Jamal Khashoggi enters the consulate building. Of course, his fiancée is with him. But from that moment on, there was no news from him anymore. In the evening, at 17:50 hours, his fiancée informs the authorities in Istanbul that his fiancé, Jamal Khashoggi, might have been detained in the Consul General. So fiancé makes an application to the authorities in Istanbul, and following this, the investigation begins. And when they check the security cameras, then it became definite that Jamal Khashoggi did not leave the consulate. So, because of diplomatic immunity, we couldn't do anything initially to go into the building. This now has become a matter for discussion. And what kind of steps can a host country can take in similar situations for the future? This is going to be discussed as a separate matter. Our intelligence units have also come into scene, and they started to investigate this matter widely, together with the Chief Prosecutor's Office in Istanbul. So, the deeper the investigation is gone, we have found further details. From the next day of the murder, 15 Saudi security personnel and forensic personnel have came to Turkey from Saudi Arabia, and some of them at some of them left later in the afternoon. Some of them at 22:50. The team of 15 people left Turkey in the same day with different planes. So also, who appeared to look like Jamal Khashoggi, in the same night he left Turkey and went back to Saudi Arabia. So everyone who was in the council might have been responsible for the murder of Jamal Khashoggi was let out from the building for them to leave the country. So, first of all, as you all know, Saudi authorities have rejected the idea of Jamal Khashoggi being murdered. So, on the 6th of October, the Consul General invited the Reuters reporter and showed inside the council, and as if he was making fun of the Reuters reporters, he was opening the cupboards and showing him, look, he is not here, he is not there, he's not here, basically. So our prosecutor continued their work and extended their work, and the longer they work, the more evidence they found. And also, our Interior Ministry has been in touch with the prosecutors as well constantly. And also, on 11th of October, a team of Saudis came into our country to carry out a joint investigation on this matter. But ultimately, the team that arrived from Saudi Arabia on the 11th of October, they said that they will allow Turkish authorities to go into the consulate. Of course, we had to ask certain questions, and we needed to search for the answers to those questions. Of course, as we all know, this incident had taken place in Istanbul, and we are the people in authority. So we have the right to ask and find out the answers to these questions that we had. So, and of course, when this procedure extended in the way it has, of course, this attracted the attention of other countries around the world. And we clearly said that we are not going to let this go silently, and we are not going to accuse anybody unnecessarily. So that's why we waited patiently to see what our investigations, what forensic experts find out as a result of their investigation. So I had a telephone conversation with King Salman of Saudi Arabia, and I told them what we have found
and the indications that are available. I also, with him, expressed our decision to have a joint team to work together, and I spoke about that when I received the Saudi delegation sent by the King of Saudi Arabia to Turkey. You know, the Consular General of Saudi Arabia hasn't accepted that, and I have said that this consular is not very well qualified to behave in a proper way in these situations, and I have said that to King Salman ibn Abdulaziz during our phone call. One day later, the consular has left his job and went back to Saudi Arabia. On 30th of October, in the building of the consulate, an investigation has taken place, and on the 19th, which means 17 days after the crime that has been committed in the consulate, and then Saudi Arabia has confirmed officially that Jamal Khashoggi has been killed in the building of the consulate. He was killed, they said, after a brawl in the building of the consulate, and at the same time, we spoke to King Salman ibn Abdulaziz, as said, but this time another phone call, and 18 people, suspected people, have been arrested to be involved in this case. 18 people on the list, and we found 15 of these people came to Istanbul, and 3 are working in the consulate. These developments were very important because they confirmed the crime, and Saudi Arabia has said that. I also had a phone call with the American President Donald Trump on the 21st of October, and we have agreed to work and to exceed the efforts in order to know the consequences of this crime and this issue. We have administered this period according to the seriousness of the country and according to the international principles and international laws and according to the Turkish laws. We have been targeted on the media outlets, and we know those who were and are behind this media campaign, but whatever they have done, we will go on with our effort to find the facts. No one will prevent us from finding the facts. A killing crime, despite being in the consulate building that is considered Saudi territories, but let's not forget that this building is within the borders of Turkey, the Republic of Turkey. The Vienna Agreement and the international laws never allow such crimes and never prevent investigations under any circumstance or under the immunity things. So, in this regard, we will do our work, we will continue our investigation. We need not to forget that Jamal Khashoggi, who is a Saudi citizen, is an international well-known journalist, and he is well-known everywhere. And this is another thing that necessitates attention to this crime. In Turkey, we will follow up this case because it's a spiritual case, a human case, and the world is quite interested in this case. Up to the moment, the evidence confirmed that Khashoggi has been brutally killed, and this brutality will harm and hurt the human conscience in a severe way. Dear members, let me tell you that the Saudi authorities have taken an important step confirming the crime, the killing, and now we ask the Saudi authorities to work hard to reveal the names of those involved from bottom to ceiling, because everyone has to be known to be involved in such a crime. This crime has been planned, and we have evidence that confirms that this crime has been planned according to the information that we have. There are also questions that is in every mind. Why those 15 people gathered in Istanbul on the day where they have committed the crime? We need an answer to this question. And why have they came to Istanbul according to instructions given to them by whom? We need to know. Why they have opened the consulate for an investigation and started an interrogation, not on the day of the accident or the killing, but days later. Why these contradictory statements about the killing, about the case? Where is the body of Jamal Khashoggi? No one knows until now. There is a claim that the body of Khashoggi has been given to a local person. I am asking, who is that local person? Because no one is talking about this local person. They just said a local person. And someone has said that it is a local person. You need to reveal the name of this local person. We need to know. And no one is allowed to think that this case will come to an end without answering all these questions. Some available information in the hands of the security and intelligence people here stressed that and confirmed that this case has been planned for, and all these matters will be put into consideration and will be put in mind all the way through. Any attempt to accuse this or that or security people or intelligence people, if they are named, this will be good for us and for the international community. Our conscience, the human conscience, will be okay when these matters are revealed. I don't question the credibility at all of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman ibn Abdul Aziz, and undoubtedly he will do whatever it takes. A comprehensive investigation that takes time, and an investigation by an independent team that will work within justice. If there is a crime, there must be perpetrators, and we need to know those who are involved in any country who have taken part in this crime. And this is what has to be done according to the Islamic Sharia and the international laws and the laws of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We are here want to do whatever it takes within the law. I urge everyone, I urge the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman ibn Abdul Aziz, to do what it takes, because the crime has taken place in Istanbul, and we need to know. I propose to file a suit against those people, the 18 people who have taken part in this crime in Istanbul. This is just my proposal, and everything has taken place here in Istanbul, so we have to do something. Dear brothers and sisters, another topic I want to talk to you about in our agenda today, which is the pardon of prisoners. As you know, Turkey on the 15th of July has seen a coup d'etat, and a new era has started in every domain, including politics. And undoubtedly, there's a sort of political cooperation that is very vital in combating terrorism. Through this cooperation, we have reached a fruitful agreement within the parliament, and on the 16th of April, the referendum and elections that have taken place after that, the people has been always there, and there are some pivotal matters like the establishment of the Republic of Turkey, Turkish Republic, and there are other things that all politicians have to follow. In reality, the Justice and Development AK and all the political parties have their own viewpoints, but we cannot agree on everything. But when it comes to the pardon, it's a decision that has to be through the Supreme Court. We try to express these points in a very constructive way and method. We defend our policies massively, but we will never accept any humiliation. We will never accept anyone to be humiliated. We cannot tolerate any humiliation in our country. When they spoke about pardoning the prisoners, I have issued my orders to carry on investigation about this, and the results were saying that this matter will hurt the conscience of our people, and I have tried to say that I'm not very optimistic towards these samples and these models, and undoubtedly the state, the country, can pardon crimes against the country of the state, but crimes against the people, against individuals, cannot be pardoned and cannot be.
There we've been listening to the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan addressing an AK Party meeting in the parliament there in Ankara. He was giving detailed accounts in his speech to his party of the events surrounding Jamal Khashoggi's killing 3 weeks ago in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul. He detailed some of the investigation's findings. He said he is working hard to pressure the Saudis to reveal everyone who was involved in that killing. Erdogan said he has evidence to confirm that this was a crime that was planned. Let's cross over to Jamal Elshayyal. He's been listening in from Istanbul. He's outside, actually, that Saudi consulate building there in Istanbul. Jamal, we were promised by Erdogan that he would reveal the naked truth. We didn't quite hear that, did we?
No, you can call that a bit anticlimactic, to say the least. I mean, what Erdogan did, essentially all he did was wrap up in one speech the different bits of information that were leaked out or released over the span of the past 3 weeks. So rather than have them all on their own, he collated them all in terms of telling us about information that already had been divulged to the press, albeit at least this time it is on the authority of the presidency. Maybe that gives it more weight when he talks about the 15-man hit squad, when he talks about the fact that this was pre-planned. He says that, I think, is one of the most important things. We could actually come out of this briefing, let's call it that, with three very important things, I think, from the president's perspective. Number one, that he made it very clear, as far as he is concerned and his country is concerned, that this was a pre-planned attempt to murder Jamal Khashoggi, not to kidnap him. This wasn't something that was rogue. He said this was pre-planned, and this he gave the evidence that he felt, in the sense that Jamal Khashoggi had gone to the embassy many days, or the consulate rather, many days before that fateful Tuesday, and then during that time, there was agents who were flown in to scout out different places. He spoke about Yalova and Belgrade. Those are two forestation areas where it was believed possibly that parts of Jamal's body were disposed of there. So the first thing is that he says it's pre-planned. The second thing was a very clear demand. He said that the Saudi narrative, in the beginning, they rejected anything to do with Jamal Khashoggi's disappearance. Then they admitted, and they said that the body was given to local collaborators. He said he needs to know, Turkey needs to know who those local collaborators are. So publicly here, he's demanding and saying that the responsibility for finding the body, or what remains of Jamal Khashoggi's body, is squarely on the Saudi authorities. And that was a very important message coming from the president, because not only does he want to find out where the body is or the remains are to wrap up this case, but also, in the end of the day, that would insinuate that there are criminal elements here that are willing to dispose of bodies, that obviously from any law enforcing agency would want to be aware of their activities in that country. And third, and more importantly, I would say probably this is the highlight of it, where he said he believes, as president, that all those 18 suspects that Saudi said that they rounded up must be extradited to Turkey to face trials here in Turkey. Obviously, the Saudi Minister of Justice a couple of days ago said that they would be facing Saudi justice. However, let's imagine that they will be facing justice in Saudi Arabia. As defendants, they probably would want to have the justice served here in Saudi, because ultimately the penalty for killing in Saudi Arabia is the death penalty. So for them to come to Turkey might be better of them. But then again, if they are in Saudi, there is a lot of belief that maybe they would be given just a show trial, a kangaroo one, and not a real one. Erdogan says that he wants them here, and they must face the Turkish justice system.